Android, are you seriously removing the headphone jack from the next Pixel phone?
Yes, I did.
Why would you do that?
Because Apple did, ha 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 ha.
I swear, you better put it back.
Remember, I am a robot. I do not feel pain.
As if we didn't have enough to complain about from Apple, now we hear that apparently the Google Pixel 2 is not going to have a headphone jack. What on earth are they thinking? It's funny because last year they poked fun at Apple for not having a headphone jack. They kind of made a big deal about the Pixel having a headphone jack, and now they're taking it out to replace it with God knows what, probably nothing. So now you're gonna have all these phones that need dongles. It's just stupid. But that's not all. You know, if it was just the headphone jack, I'd probably forgive them, because you know what? Honestly, even though I love to complain about the headphone jack, I love to have the option, I know that, you know, I don't actually use it that often. It wouldn't be a huge deal breaker for me personally, but I still think there's no real point to remove it. But it's not just about the headphone jack, because there's other rumors that have been coming out. If you see some of these pictures, you know, there's some renders and images that claim that it's going to be a full screen like we had with the G6 and probably the new iPhone and with the Galaxy S8. But there's other more probable pictures that show, again, a giant bezel on the bottom, just like they did last year. That was like one of the biggest design complaints that everyone had last year. It just looked like a goofy phone. It's bigger than it necessarily has to be. If they had a taller screen, smaller bezels, you could have a smaller phone with a bigger screen, but now it looks like they're gonna just have the same giant, ugly look to it. But you know what really grinds my gears? What they're doing with all this extra space. You think maybe they're putting in a giant battery, which we don't know, maybe, but I doubt it. Maybe, I don't know, introducing some new killer feature. No, because it's on good authority apparently that they're introducing the squeeze function. So you can squeeze the phone and do something with it. I can't think of a dumber feature that you could put in a phone. There was the other phone that came out with that, and I thought it was the stupidest thing in the world. Like, really? Why not just add like an extra button on the side? Why do you have to squeeze the phone? It's so dumb. And this is just what does not make sense to me. They make these drastic anti-customer moves. They reduce the headphone jack, or remove it, complaining, oh, it's precious little space, and then go and add what probably is more space to add sensors for if you want to squeeze the phone. Oh yeah, everyone wants that. That's gonna be so useful. They could just add a little tiny button. It just, why do they do this? It's like Apple, they have to follow what Apple did. Oh, Apple removed the headphone jack. Oh, we have to do it too, because everyone will buy it anyway. But the thing is, the Pixel is not an iPhone. They don't have that brand loyalty. The Pixel was brand new. I mean, people didn't know what it was. They had to take out huge advertisements for it, and I think it was actually pretty successful. So now they're gonna go do this radical move and remove the headphone jack, and then add these dumb features and make it look ugly as hell, and then they're gonna try and sell it with no brand loyalty. I don't think this is gonna go over well. I could be wrong, but I mean, if Apple did it, people would probably still buy it, but I think the look, especially if they keep those huge bezels, is not gonna go over well, because people are looking at all these new flagships with the huge screen, and they're like, yeah, this looks, you know what, this looks pretty nice. I kinda like that. And then they see this giant chin on a phone, and they're like, that looks like it's from 10 years ago, even though it's last year's design. Now, of course, we can also hope, at least, to get some new features such as waterproofing. I mean, that's a major reason that they do give an excuse for removing a headphone jack like the iPhone, is that it's easier to waterproof, even though you can do it without it. So, all right, that better be waterproof if they're gonna be doing that. Also, I would hope, though they're probably not gonna do it, that they would introduce wireless charging. I think they're gonna, waste that again. They're not gonna introduce it. They said, They don't think people need it, just like they think people don't need the headphone jack. And another thing they could use that extra space on is a micro SD slot. Are they gonna do that again? Probably not. Doesn't look like it based on the pictures. So I don't know what is gonna be the reason you would ever buy this. It's gonna be faster, but that's it. It's gonna have less features overall. And really, honestly, I think the only good thing about the phone is if they can keep the camera being as good as it is and improve it, because the Pixel phone has probably the best camera, specifically because of the processing it does, than any other phone on the market, even the iPhone. So that's probably gonna try and be their main selling point, but I don't think it's gonna be enough, because everything else there's almost no improvement at all, or if there's not, it's a reduction in features. And yeah, maybe they can also introduce a better screen, but if they were gonna do that, they may as well have done it all the way and just made it a big full-size screen that covers the whole front of the phone. So it seems like the screen is not the priority either. I don't know, I'm just getting worked up. We could be wrong, but there's been more and more sources coming out that this is probably what the phone is gonna end up being like. I mean, it looks nicer on the back. They have the window is not as big, but the front just looks just as dumb. I mean, when the Pixel came out, the first one even, I thought it was a dumb design, but everything else was very functional. And now it's just they're reducing the functionality. So the one thing it had, they're taking away from it and making it still look dumb. Google is really tempting me to get an iPhone, and I'm really considering it this year. I've been waiting and waiting and waiting for Apple to finally make an iPhone that I was excited enough to switch back. I had an iPhone years ago and I liked it. I switched over to Android to try it out, kept using that for years, up until now even. And I would be willing to switch back to iPhone because there are things about it that I do like. For example, when you upgrade your phone, there's no other platform that's easier to upgrade than an iPhone. You just copy everything and it works on the new phone because it's all the same platform. With Android, it's a pain in the neck. It's a disaster. But of course, being Apple, there are more rumors about some features that they're taking away. If you saw my video last week, that there's a chance that Apple will literally be removing the fingerprint scanner. What? No, Apple, why? Why would they do that? They've just come up with the phone. They're just at the point where, yes, it would be worth it to get it. And then they take away arguably the most useful feature, possibly. If they do that, I'm not switching to the iPhone. No way. If they keep the fingerprint scanner and everything else is really good, I might actually switch to it, especially if the Pixel 2 is just garbage. If the Pixel 2 is as bad as I seem to be describing in this video, if all these rumors are true, I probably will switch to iPhone unless there's no fingerprint scanner. If both of them suck, then I'm just gonna keep the Pixel phone because it's still the better option. It's a year old and it's still the better option out of everything. And probably wait for LG's new phone or even the next round of new phones. It just doesn't even make sense to upgrade. And now come to think of it, it probably would make more sense for companies to not make a new phone every year, but instead maybe make one every 2 years. I think they're running out of ideas. I mean, what else can they add? Facial recognition, that's not a good feature. You heard me talk about it. I went very, very extensively into the last video about why facial recognition as security is absolutely horrible. It doesn't work. We already have pretty much full front screens. We already have like waterproof. We have OLED. I mean, obviously, you can't say that all the features have been implemented. That would be stupid. There's gonna be more and more innovation over the years, but it's getting to the point where it's smaller and smaller changes every year, and I don't even know what they're doing. They're trying to radicalize and make big changes in bad ways, thinking that they need to improve it so much more because they are maybe running out of big ideas. Now, I don't want to ramble on too much longer, so why don't we try to wrap this up? So what would make me get the Pixel 2? Well, as I kind of mentioned, there's been multiple different renderings and pictures. The most recent picture of the Pixel 2 does show huge bezels. If it has the huge bezel, I probably won't even upgrade. I probably won't even bother. If the iPhone, they take away the fingerprint sensor, not gonna upgrade to that either. Probably just keep the phone. If they, keep all the features they have, God forbid, they don't downgrade, I might even upgrade. And I need to know your guys' opinion on this. I mean, is this a big deal? Do you care about the headphone jack, or are you starting to realize, yeah, you know what, I don't really use it enough anyway. If I have to use a dongle for it, it'll be so rare, it doesn't matter. Or maybe you use it every day and you're like, no, I will never buy a phone without a headphone jack. And also, are you as upset as me about some of the other rumors, like the big giant bezels and the dumb squeeze feature? I think that's a stupid feature. I don't know if everyone agrees. I think that's a dumb feature. Why not just add a button, right? Do you guys agree with that? Let me know down there too. So we could talk about this down in the comments section, of course, on Twitter as well. I'm on there. It's just @TheoJoe, and Instagram if you want to check me out, @TheoJoe on both of them. And also, if you guys want to keep watching, I'll put some other videos right here. I'll put them on this side. You can just click those. And of course, if you do want to subscribe, I try to make new videos 2 to 3 times a week. I'm experimenting with both of them, so it should be worth it at least. But anyway, thanks again for watching, guys. So I'll see you next time, and have a good one.